This is the regular state planning and project meeting. Thursday, April 28th. We're beginning at what time is it? 6:01. 6:01. Beginning with the pledge to the flag. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, Director Garcia,
Here.
Director Nyman,
Here.
Director Schoenberg, Director Kelling. Here. And I'm here, so all are present. Discussion vote on the adjust agenda if necessary. Yes, Director Schoenberg.
Okay, I'd like to, under item 8, table A, items A through D, and just discuss item E. I don't believe we can discuss any of the other items yet. I would also like to table under number 9, item D and E. Well, I guess we can talk about E, but so just item D. And then I would also like to table under item 10, C and E.
That's D as in dog and E.
C as in cat
Thank you.
and E as in Edward. Echo.
You want to do the funneling mapping?
I don't think we're gonna get paid on any of that without Carlos and Austin, right?
Well, I just think we can mention the other things.
Okay.
Okay, just
Okay.
those two, huh?
So,
A motion's on the floor.
I'll second it.
Okay. Roll call, Directors. Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Director Gibson's and I, 5-0-0. Public comments, items not listed on the agenda. Does anyone have anything to say? Okay, ad hoc committee reports, project committee.
So we attended the state update meeting, and the minutes are on tonight's agenda to be approved. And there were some questions that came out of that, but they're all on that agenda as far as I could tell. And we did ask about the, and that'll come up on one of the items, we did ask about the few issues that we had discussed asking about at the previous meeting. So,
Okay. Accounts payable committee.
We met and everything was fine and we'll discuss it in financials.
Perfect. Book asset detail committee.
and we did not, we met once, but we did not meet again. I have a potential, and I didn't discuss it with Director Nyman yet, potential meeting scheduled for the 3rd at 9 a.m. potentially, and the 5th, or the 5th at 10 a.m. So either both or just one.
I can't do that on the 3rd.
Okay, so can we just do the 5th at 10 a.m.?
Sure, it's Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so we'll go over items on the 5th at 10, and I'm going to delete and get a hold of Deborah and let her know that we cannot do the.
Right there.
Oh, that's right, Deborah, we cannot do the.
I'll update my calendar.
I'm not used to being back in this room, so, okay, yeah, so the 5th it is. You know, and we'll be just, for the other directors, we'll be going over some more. Deborah had lined up some items that were previously bought so that we can classify them correctly. And we're just kind of in the process still of going over things and figuring out what we can drop off completely and all of that, so.
Okay, treasurer committee?
And that we met, I think we can drop that off unless you think we still, oh, there was a reason we were keeping it on there. I can't remember what that was.
Oh, we still have to go over the
Bonds?
bonds.
The bonds, and then we also need to go to the bank and still
Still,
bug Sherry.
yes.
So, yeah, so we were keeping that on there, but we have not met again for that yet. Do we want to get a date now?
Sure.
Just so we have it on record. And then Deborah really needs to be a part of that for the bonds, correct?
Yes.
Can we do the 10th?
I have an appointment in Santa Clarita on the 10th.
Okay.
I can do the 11th.
At like 11 o'clock?
Yeah, is that, will you be able to meet with accounts payable on the 10th?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, 11 would be fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Is
moving
that
on.
good with you, Deborah?
Let me check. It should be okay, I think.
And then I meet with you on Tuesday to do the, Director Kelling for the checks for the accounts payable.
So May 11
May
at 11?
11th at 11.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay, moving on, discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. Okay, Deborah.
Okay, so we had a very light week. We issued 7 checks from the operating revenue account totaling $1,802.28. There was nothing significant unless you have some questions for me.
I have one question.
Sure.
What mileage were we reimbursing Johnny for?
Mileage for going to the lab and using my personal card, picking up bottles and stuff.
Okay, just trying to clear it up.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Well, then I'll entertain,
I'll make a motion that we pay our bills.
I'll second that.
good, roll call directors, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg, Director Kelling,
Aye.
Director Gibson, I 500. Moving on. Discussion vote on Prop 218 public hearing notice. Director Schoenberg,
I had a couple of things that I wanted to bring up on that. So I have nothing on page 1, but on page 2, I had, at the top of the page, it's the second paragraph down. At the end of that paragraph, it's, well, I'm just gonna read the whole paragraph. Despite the continuing increase in cost to operate the water system, Fraser Park Public Utility District has not adjusted water rates since 2019, resulting in operating losses. I would like to remove the statement that says resulting in operating losses and just put a period after 2019. I do not believe that we've actually had operating losses. We just haven't been able to accrue as much money in the capital improvement reserve as we would like to, but we have not had actual losses.
Right.
So that's my first change that I'd like to get an okay on.
Yes.
I would second that. If that's a motion.
Well.
I
concur.
don't think we need a motion, because we'll need a motion for the whole, for the
Okay.
whole thing, but
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. I think that-
that'll be one of the amendments. And then another amendment I have is at the bottom of that page where it says written protests will not be accepted by email or fax. Verbal protests will not be counted, period. I would like it to read something like verbal protests are welcome. However, they cannot be counted as a part of this process.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So verbal protests are welcome, however, they cannot be counted as a part of this process. Okay, and then, so that's the only two I have on that page. And then on the third page, the top paragraph, I would like to amend it to read, it's the very bottom, two bottoms, or the bottom sentence, next to the bottom sentence, it says, the adoption may not take place at the July 7, 2022 meeting if time is needed to verify and count the letters of protest. I'd like it to read, if additional time is needed to verify and count the letters of protest. And there's also an extra space between 2022 and meeting.
Okay,
So with those changes, I would like to,
I got some.
okay, never mind.
I got some. I think it's on this one. Oh, no, it's on the resolution. Oh, no, there was one thing. It may be silly, but in going over
Hey, John,
where the yellow is, or
The
the
second page of
the
the.
current fees.
where the fees. Could we put like little asterisks by the ones that we're changing? And then put down at the bottom, proposed changes?
Yeah, because right now it's highlighted all in yellow, so it looks like they're.
So
all changing, but
everything's
they're
gonna be
definitely
changed.
not all changing.
I know this is a worksheet that
Okay.
you didn't do. It's a worksheet that,
I'll
RCA's
try, but the table, I'll have to see if I can change the table because it's,
yeah, I
Data process
understand.
table.
That's why I was, it was just
Yeah.
like,
Or he may be able to do it if.
I
we
may have to ask
yeah,
him to do it
yeah.
as long as.
I was just-
But I kind of agree that it's a little bit confusing because a lot don't change and yet it's all yellow. So
Right.
either we need to only yellow the ones that change or put the asterisk with a little,
Yeah, that would probably be better if they,
we can color,
yeah, the color them
that brings more
and
attention to you.
put it asterisk.
but I just thought that we should show that not everything is changing.
yeah, I agree.
Good call.
Okay.
Anything else?
Tiffany does.
Are you okay with the date? Cause I said that the increases would begin August first, is that, okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
verify that that's
was.
what-
Yeah,
okay.
Well, because they said that it could go immediately, so that would be the next billing cycle would be August.
That would
Right,
be the
because we
billing
may
cycle.
not be done, I mean, we're not, July, it would be in the middle of July, because we're
Right.
not gonna be done with the count,
So
so.
Right.
then would it annually go up?
No,
No,
then
but
it's gonna-
annually, so
then
I
on
think you do
January
need to,
1st.
I think you do need to say that, you didn't mention that, so it would, the following table would begin August 1st, 2022. And then the final adjustment will be implemented no later than January 1st, 2025, so I do think we need to add the implementation would happen each year on January
in January.
of the subsequent year. So for 2023, you could say January 1st, and then the subsequent years, it
Yes.
would happen on January 1st or something like that.
That way, people, they're getting a break for the first 8 months. 7 months.
Okay, so do we need a motion? to
Well, are there
approve
any
this?
other directors that have changes?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, so I'd like to move that we approve the Proposition 218 notification with the amendments that were mentioned thus far.
Awesome.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, Director Garcia. Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Gibson, I, 500. Okay, moving on. Discussion vote on the Prop 218 resolution FP 2022-0707-01.
Comment?
Tiffany,
The resolution, I dated it for the date of the public hearing. Is that what the goal is, to pass it on the date of the, okay.
In July,
Um,
July 7th?
Well, yes, but if we can't count the votes that date, then we would have to do it afterwards. So we
Which
would
would
have
be
to, we would have to make a motion at that meeting. Like if there were too many to count or something and it was going on too long, then I think we would have to make a motion to carry it over, to table it until the following meeting. But I think as long as there's not so many, I mean, I don't know how fast we can. Last time it took us a while to count them. Maybe we shouldn't put that date.
Yeah.
Maybe we should put the
The
The date of
following
the
meeting.
subsequent meeting, the
Yeah.
July meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, and that'll change the resolution date.
Because I'm not sure that, are we gonna have a regular meeting
Yeah.
and do the Prop 218 meeting?
Not the same day,
Oh, so we're just doing the protest hearing?
that's just the protest,
Then yes, then we definitely need the date of the following meeting.
because the July meeting is.
Or you need a special meeting to do it, but I would just do it at the regular meeting.
Yeah, the regular meeting would be the following week on the 14th.
Right. So, and I think that's when we would actually kind of ratify everything.
Do you want to date it for the 14th?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
would
so.
Say that.
Yeah.
And
So
then
when
I
is
have
our Prop 218 meeting?
on the 7th,
July 7th.
July 7th.
and the informational meeting is before that on the
June 25th.
25th, Saturday at 10 a.m.
Okay, hold on, Prop. 218.
And I have confirmed and paid for that, so it's in stone.
So that's, the one that's on July 7th is at what, 6 o'clock?
Yes,
What
and we're
time?
doing both of them at the park?
yes.
July 7th at what time?
6 o'clock?
6, and then how about the one on
June is
June
at 10,
25th?
10 in the morning,
And that's June what?
25th.
That's Saturday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
What are
So,
we doing then?
that's an informational meeting so that people.
The
can have
RCAC guys
questions
could be
and
there.
Understand
And what
what's
time will that
going
be?
on. That's at 10 a.m. on Saturday at the park
on the way.
in the community building. And then the protest or, I don't know, what's called a protest hearing, but the count of the vote will be,
The public
the
meeting,
public meeting for
Will be
voting will be on.
July
the-
7th.
The
So-
public hearing, yeah.
Yes. And that's at 6 p.m. at the park.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then I have a change also.
Dr. Schoenberg,
So I cannot see anywhere on this resolution where it mentioned that there would not be an increase for the consumption fee. I did not see that that was mentioned, and I would like that mentioned somewhere.
Okay, do you have a,
Consumption fee, I just put consumption, there will be a $0 increase on the consumption fee after the amount of the base increase. So on the
you know,
first
two
page,
A.
So maybe that should
first
be
page
a
at
2,
2B,
oh, make it,
make it a 2B,
yes,
because there's a 2, which talks about the base water rate.
right, so there's 2, and then A is the amount of the base increase, and then B would be,
Usage rate.
it's the consumption fee. But you might put consumption fee parentheses usage rate or something so people understand what that is. What's
Director
it called?
Garcia,
I have a question, please. I'd like to go back to the scheduling for June. We have a meeting, obviously, the first meeting is the 9th at 6 here. The 16th is our usual ad hoc committee. That'll be here at 10. The 23rd is our usual Thursday night planning. Is that still going to be held here at 6?
Yes,
And then, so we have an extra one, the 25th,
right.
the 4th. Okay, thank you. That clears it up.
Pack a bag.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring a lunch.
And
Yeah,
I
you
believe
got a lot of
is
meetings that month.
Father's Day on the
Father's Day is the 19th.
the 19th. Okay, so that's fine.
The 19th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so where are we at on this resolution?
So, I also have another, oh no, that was it, but, I was just, reading, so it's just called the consumption fee on the proposed monthly rate schedules. Do you want Tiffany to put something in parentheses that says usage or something? So, or should we just call it exactly the same thing that it says on the letter? On the resolution.
I think everybody knows what consumption fee is.
Well, if you turn on the resolution, if you turn the next page, it says usage rate of $2.60 per 1,000 gallons. If that's right, then the usage rate,
Okay, so you're right, so call it consumption fee.
Is it 1,000
parentheses,
gallons or
usage
is it?
rate.
I thought it was 100 cubic feet, which is.
It is 100.
We break it,
748.
we did break it down to 1,000 gallons so people could understand it easier. Equate.
and that's fine, but it's on the
Bill. it's per
RCAC,
cubic.
RCAC has $3.15 per 1,000 gallons. And we have 260 in the resolution, so which is it?
Where does it say that?
Right there, where you're looking at on the consumption, under the, which is water consumption for both residential and businesses.
Okay.
That was 2021.
It's all the way across, it's 236 for 100 cubic feet. Or,
That's business is 315.
no,
No, residential and business, you're right, equivalent of 315, yeah.
so is it 315 or is it 260?
The 315,
236.
the 315, I think, I'd have to do the math, but 315, I think is per 100 cubic feet. But if
No,
you-
236 is per 100 cubic feet.
Let's see what our, what's the rate?
see what it says now, yeah.
I don't know.
You get that right. You see, and I think part of it could have been confused because the last rate study, John Vandenberg wanted to put it into gallons so people could understand, and then that just confused everybody because the bill read it in cubic feet.
Well, and that's what they're trying to do here too, is gallons, but you gotta do,
Our list of rates and fees says $2.36 per 100 cubic feet
right,
or $3.15 per 1,000 gallons.
okay, then the resolution is wrong. Because you got usage rate on the resolution as $2.60 per 1,000 gallons. So you'll have to go
At
to
the
the
lower rate, at the
315.
higher. So,
So you'll have to put it to the 315.
Good catch.
When they're, that's, never mind, we'll go over that later.
I think it needs to say both. I think it needs to say consumption fee, the amount, and then in parentheses, usage rate.
Or-
to-
But or, and then
Or,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so just change it all.
but that's also in the table. That's also in a tape, in the table. Here in the table? Down here
Okay, is that the table on the notice or on the resolution?
on the letter.
Okay,
Yeah, they just need to match.
Good catch, Sherry.
I'm like, what am I really paying?
So then we need to amend the, make a friendly amendment on the previous motion. And then do this motion.
Mr. Schunder?
So do you all, who was the seconder on the previous motion, Garcia?
Sorry?
No, it was.
I think I did.
Terry
You were,
Dolan.
okay, so are you okay with the friendly amendment that we alter, or that we include what we just mentioned
Yeah,
as part of the
in the table?
amendments? for the letter,
For the letter.
I think
Yes.
it's correct on the letter chart.
Yes,
What's
but
correct?
she's wanting you to it's consumption fee
But it
for
shows,
both residential and business, put consumption fee parentheses,
usage
Usage?
fee, yeah, you need to say the
Usage,
same thing in both
and then put
places.
fee, because we're calling it
Different names.
different names, so let's combine the two and that way people know consumptions means what they're using. So I understand, that. So it'd just be kind of a.
And the same-
36 is correct for 100 cubic feet, right? Is that correct?
The what is correct?
Is the 236 per 100 cubic feet correct?
Yes.
That's what we're charging presently, yes.
Okay. And then oh,
It's
then,
not changing.
That's not
It's
changing.
exactly the same, but
oh,
we
and that's
just
where
need to
they
get
have
the wording.
equivalent of 315 per 1,000
Correct.
gallons.
Right,
I was saying earlier.
And-
This is the
and-
conversion.
In what I mentioned on the
So that people know.
resolution, it needs to say both things also on that
Right,
first page,
on that.
consumption and usage,
right.
parentheses.
But is the business consumption the same? or-
It's the same.
Okay,
I thought it was different, but it's
Okay.
not. It's the same.
okay.
Okay, so roll
we
call,
had-
Director?
Wait,
Are we
I
all
haven't made a motion
on
for
the
that one
same
yet.
We all on the same
Oh,
page?
yeah, I did make a motion. So on the friendly amendment, I guess we need to re-vote on that.
Oh, and that's on the letter.
That's on the letter, not the resolution,
Okay,
based on the new information that was presented. So we made a friendly amendment. and
okay,
just
so
retake
we'll
the
vote on the friendly amendment right now. Director Garcia?
Aye.
Director Nyman?
Aye,
Director Schoenberg?
Aye.
Director Kelly?
Aye.
Director Gibson, aye, 500. Great. Discussion vote,
Well, wait, we gotta go. Oh, okay, go on.
So now,
discussion vote update on FP, LOW, consolidation planning.
no,
We haven't gotten that,
no.
one. We're
Okay.
still on the resolution now.
I'd like to
That was,
move
Oh,
sorry.
that we
Okay.
approve resolution FP 2022. It's gonna have a new date, 07, what is the new date?
14.
14-01. In the matter of resolution establishing procedures for a Proposition 218 majority protest hearing and calling for majority protest hearing on a proposed increase to the district's base water rate and administrative fees with the amendments that were mentioned, which is adding the consumption parentheses usage fee at the bottom of 2 as a 2B, and fixing the
usage.
charts, adding the consumption fee usage rate to reflect 260 per.
No, not
No.
260.
315.
There should be 315 per
No,
1,000 gallons.
No, and it's not 260 either, it's 230.
No, no.
Wait,
Because we're in
excuse
gallons,
me.
you're in gallons.
I know that.
Okay.
It needs to say both. It needs to say the consumption fee in cubic feet and the gallons at 315, a
Oh,
1,000
okay,
gallons.
so you want both in that,
Yes,
okay.
you got that, Tiffany?
they need to match.
And that's on a lot of pages,
Yes, that's on multiple pages.
yeah.
And is that the motion?
That's the motion.
I will second that motion.
Okay, roll call, Director Garcia?
Aye.
Director Nyman?
Aye,
Director Schoenberg?
Aye.
Director Kelly?
Aye.
Director Gibson, aye, 500.
Oh, good job.
I have a question.
Just make sure these are. all
Yes,
set.
Tiffany.
2 questions. One, is there a director who wants to look over everything before it's
Yeah, well,
mailed?
Tiffany,
Because I would love a final check.
I'll do that if you're willing.
yeah,
That'd be
Yeah.
great. Second question, are we mailing both the notice and the resolution?
Yeah, normally the resolution's part of the notice, I believe. It could be crazy, but
I think he said that we just had to do the letter. I don't think he said we had to do the resolution.
I mean, they say the same thing, so I'm okay not mailing the resolution unless there's wording that says it has to be mailed with the letter. Because the letter breaks it all down as well. And the resolution won't be voted on until that following.
And I think that'll actually be a little bit cheaper because it's more complicated for the resolution. 'Cause it's a
But
longer
you
page,
need to
right?
double check that
Yeah.
because I recall sending both of them in the past.
I just remember guy from RCA say we didn't have to, but
Save, save the postage.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just remember we've done it differently before, so but I think we just need to find out if there's if it says that we have to send them both, otherwise we shouldn't send them both.
Is that an attorney question?
Yeah,
Or-
I think that's an
or
attorney
or
question.
David.
No, I wouldn't ask David, I would ask the attorney.
Okay, I emailed him Monday about verifying who we send the notices to, and he hasn't responded to that one yet, so.
Right, because we need to, I believe, send them to both the renters and the owners, but we can only accept one vote. So during the meeting, we have to have a
Yeah,
list of everything and check off, are you a renter or owner? We need to make sure that the owner
Gets the same.
gets the main vote, but if the owner has not voted, then the renter vote would count. Because I don't believe in, but that would only be if the renter has the whatever it's called, what's our form that allows them to
Owner
pay,
tenant
then they
directive.
get the main vote.
The directive.
I think
Yeah.
that should be changed now too, because now the owner tenant directive means far less because of the new laws governing who pays the bills. If the owner doesn't pay the bill now, the tenant can come in and create their own account. So. I don't-
Right, but that's what I'm saying, so if the owner is paying, then the owner has the vote, I mean, because you know that's happened in the past, where two people try to
Right.
vote.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to have that very clear also,
Maybe
and
we
make
send
sure
out
who
another email.
supersedes who.
okay, well, it's always one vote per parcel
Parcel.
number.
Parcel, yeah.
So
Correct,
if
but
somebody-
we've had,
Yeah,
in the
but
past-
we count one,
I would like to know if the law
Protest group.
says the owners specifically and not the renters at all.
right,
Because that would make more sense, because a renter could come in, live here for a year, change the vote either way, and they'd be gone, and it doesn't matter, so.
but if the
homeowners-
renter's paying the bill, then they
Yeah,
have a vote.
but the,
Like I said, I would just like to know what the law states. on it,
Yeah.
so
Well,
hopefully
we have to
Alan
do
can answer that.
We have to do it to the law, period,
Oh, I know.
yeah.
okay, now,
Okay, so now I'm moving on to you. Where are we at?
good night, Deborah, thank you.
Good night, Deborah, thank you.
Deborah.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
uh-huh,
You too.
We're on, yeah, 8E because we tabled.
Okay. Discussion vote update on Fraser Park Lake Woods consolidation. Planning project C, discussion vote on
E,
oh, E.
everything else was tabled.
Discussion vote on claim 17 and other claims and payouts.
Correct.
Was there a reason why Oscar and,
They are at something that they had to be at, I guess.
some meeting.
We did go over this at the state meeting,
okay,
and the only issue that came up at the state meeting was that Carlos thought that we had the wrong month, that Tiffany had given him February instead of March, but it turns out that she gave him the correct information dated incorrectly. So it was actually the March information dated for February. So nothing changed from what we went over at the meeting. So we were okay with it, so we can just read that, but as far as claim 17, there were 4 items. Yeah. Separate the pages. So there was the admin costs for Fraser Park Public Utility District, which totaled $583.32. That included one meeting with 5 directors at $100 each, and one ad hoc state meeting with 2 directors at $33, but it was 1.25 hours, so that was actually $41.66 each. So that was the Fraser Park. And then also there was a,
Oh, that was a
Admin.
correction, that was a
Yeah,
correction to
that's-
41.
that's correct.
Oh, okay.
And then the staff charges, which were correct, as stated wrong, which came to $75.26 for clerk of the board. 2 different meetings on the 17th and 24th. And then our engineering charges invoice 22-03X16 dated March 31st, 2022, an amount of $204 for board meeting, principal engineer. And invoice 22-03014 dated March 31st, 2022, in the amount of $204, again, for principal engineer for the state conference call. They both happened on the same day, right? Did they? That's the date, just the same. Oh, okay, one's billed for 3/17, even though the billing date is March 31st, and the other's billed for 3/24. So it's 2 different days, 2 different calls that the engineer participated in. And then lastly, legal charge for $88.50, invoice number 87366. The amount of $88.50 for a call with counsel for State Water Resources Control Board to discuss potential easement acquisition in regard to the grant. And that had an amount of $472, but we're only paying $88.50.
So are on page 1, are the amounts correct
Yeah,
for project management? Because you said you had changed that. Because you had changed the ad hoc amount.
no. I didn't say that.
Well, you said that you had mentioned that it was $41.25.
Right, because it was for
More than 1 hour.
1.25 hours.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so that adds up to something different, which would change the,
How does that add up to something different?
okay, hold on.
No, the hourly rate is $33.33 and the total is $41.66 for both directors. 500, 41.66 and 41.
Well, shouldn't it be, it's $82.50 plus 500, it should be
How is it 82.50? It's
41,
83,
I thought you said it was $41.25.
66 cents. You have it in
41.66.
front of you.
No, it's not on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Where?
It's on this
It's
chart
in the
right here.
claim. March 2022.
It,
I'm sorry, I confused you
okay,
because
never mind, you confused me. I see
Yes.
what you, okay, never
I was
mind.
just saying the hourly amount and then
That's
that
okay.
it was for an hour, .25,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
unusual,
you,
but yeah.
confused me.
So with that said, I'd like to move that we, okay, the amount of the claim for claim 17 and send that in. Carlos,
I'll
go ahead
second
and
that.
submit that.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call directors, Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye,
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Gibson, I 500. Moving on. Discussion vote update on FPPUD meter replacement project and emergency well supply project. We need to discuss A, discussion vote update on bid award for well 7. Is that you, Dee?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Of course, it's been awarded and we're waiting to get the submittals from Unified. And so we're reviewing them as they come in, and that's where we are right now.
I thought that was an insurance question that we're waiting for.
Those are the submittals. Yeah, these
Oh, so
certificates.
you're just calling that the certificate submittals?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
You can continue, Dee.
Well, that's it. That's where we are right now.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay. I've got B.
C, discussion vote on the plans and
No, B,
specifications.
go B. B.
Huh?
B as in boy.
I thought we tabled B.
No, we tabled D.
Oh, okay, sorry. Discussion vote on the letter and offer for requesting site access through say a property. Rex Schonder,
I just wanted to let Dee know that I did not answer the email, Dee, because I felt that I should have answered you, but I felt that it needed to be addressed at this meeting. I didn't feel like the ad hoc could give you the exact amount, even though we had talked about it somewhat. We never agreed as a board on the exact amount. We just gave a range of amount. So I think we need to vote on the exact amount to put in the letter for this evening. And I never got the, we never printed out the new letter. So
I never
that,
got it
yeah, Dee sent it, but
to me.
I don't know.
Might have just came to me. Sometimes I drop the ball when I check to see if you're included.
So I just think we need to look right now at a printout of the new letter to make sure that what I had asked be changed in the old letter be changed.
I can share my screen if you'd like, and we can put it on the screen.
Becky,
yes.
I wanted to give some background
Uh-huh.
to the board as far as the discussion as the Department Director Schoenberg is discussing.
Mhm.
The cost for the easement legally is $190.
Right.
And the discussion was that we may have felt like it was a slap in the face or not enough. We kicked around 300. Lawrence was in on that discussion, I think, with you, Johnny and us. And he threw out 500. I think Director Schoenberg may have said something halfway in between, 300. And so that's what we're talking about.
Okay, we mentioned 250 at our meeting, at our last meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny?
I'm gonna recommend, apparently against everybody else, that we're talking about multimillionaires here. That already we had problems with before. Even $500 is such a negligible amount to spend 1 to 2 months on their property. And we're gonna have a big laydown yard, we're gonna have pipe, and we're gonna have sand and material, and we're gonna have all kinds of stuff there. I think we should offer them $1,000 because it's 2 months. That's only $500 a month. If you wanted to, you could say 500 a month, prorated for the day. So if we're only there for 5 weeks instead of 8 weeks,
So be it.
so be it. And then we don't give them that much money, but we already have had issues with them before. And the cost and litigation and attorney fees is far greater than what we would offer them if we gave them $1,000 or $500 a month. $1,000, offer them $1,000 and then break it up to $500 a month. Because these are big time people, a lot of property. $300, $500 is nothing to them.
Well,
So that's my
then we could say
recommendation.
$1,000 is nothing.
Okay, but it still makes a little more sense than,
Well, I thought
Yeah,
they,
of
we
course.
were just, we weren't placing items on their
oh,
property.
we
I
absolutely
thought,
are.
We gotta
I thought
drill
it-
a well.
No, we absolutely are.
no,
That's-
that well and everything is on our
Yeah,
property.
but we have to put the rig and all the materials on their property while we're drilling it. It's gonna be right over the property line on their property, And then we're gonna have a big laydown yard where all the piping and the sand and everything has to go, because we don't have that room on our property. The well itself, well, when they pull the rig out and we clean everything up, everything's gonna be on our property. But that's why we have to pay them, because we don't have room to do it on our own.
Okay,
So
is that,
quick question, Dee, on this draft, is this the April 21st, 2022 draft? Or is this a later draft?
Let's do them.
It's right up there on the screen, April 2022.
I got April 21st, 2022?
Actually, there's a blank beyond April. It doesn't give a date.
I was gonna say,
It's an underscore.
I'm glad because I cannot see any of
Yeah,
that.
I can't see the screen at
I'm
all.
I'm close as
Yeah.
close as you, I can barely make it out. Isn't that right? It's an underbar right there.
I can see your logo, Dee.
Okay, let me find my original letter that I
don't think it's in the notebook.
no, I put it in the notebook.
What's that?
What's that symbol?
I understand.
This property that we're getting the temporary access for, is that the same piece of property that we want to buy from them?
Yes,
No.
or yes,
Is it?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
yes, that's part of,
The easement along the front of the property will be the same as for the Lake of the Woods project. But the temporary easement over by our well will never be used for the next project.
Well,
Well,
we're talking
but
about the
there's two
second well
part, there's,
that we're talking about, or is that easement gonna be the same?
No.
I didn't think so.
wait,
I-
part of
Now,
the,
now, the access in the pipeline
That's not-
easement, the access in the pipeline easement along the front of the property, the Lake of
Is
the
the
Woods
same.
will be. But this
Same
temporary easement, the way I understood it is it's so they could drive their truck in over to the new well.
over the pipeline area,
I
is
understand.
that incorrect, Dee, that it's both spots? One of them will not be used again, but the first one, it's talking about two parts of the easement.
Right, temporary easement, the
Yeah,
temporary easement, yes. There's a laydown area, drilling area, what Johnny was talking about. That will have a lot of equipment, it'll have sand, it'll have, casing and trailer, the casing trailer, it'll have a lot of equipment on it. It's about 1/3 of an acre. And then the access will be right along the fence. It's about 30 feet wide. And that will allow the drilling rig and the drillers and the equipment and the supplies to get into that drilling site.
Right, but to answer the question, so it is both, it's not just one
But
part.
it's the temporary easement, yeah, it's going away when the well is drilled.
And
And then
when,
we'll redo it
when well 8.
with well eight.
Right, but the question was, is part of it the same? And I'm saying.
Is well 8
yes.
gonna be within that easement?
The pipeline, part, but
Yeah,
not,
it
Oh, the
will.
well site.
no, the well site is,
That's what I think the directors are confused with.
well eight well site isn't being addressed
At
during
all.
well 7 at all.
Thank you.
Totally different part of the ranch.
But okay, so we did this temporary,
Easement.
The temporary is
Easement.
just so we can drive the trucks
but
in.
down the road, we're going to get it appraised again for what it would be worth
To
are
buy
we
a-
buying that exact piece of
Not the-
property? And I don't know
no.
why I care, but,
No, it's gonna be a well site.
no, it'll be different. It'll be a different piece
But-
of property.
But yes, what you're asking is where the pipe is gonna run, and we have a permanent easement.
uh-huh,
At that time, it will have to be reappraised because it won't be a current appraisal. Right now, it's an appraisal for a temporary easement.
uh-huh,
So down the road, whenever this happens, because we have, I think the Woods project seems to take forever.
Huh.
It'll have to be appraised again, that part.
okay.
The second temporary easement won't be addressed again in the Lake of the Woods project.
Okay, I have further understanding. Thank you.
Okay, so the letter D I have on the 21st is not the letter to Nathan. It's actually a draft letter you wrote to Lawrence Sanchez. And then my eyes aren't good enough to read what you have on the screen, but I never got the letter that you have on the screen.
Well, I can read
So-
it. You want me to read it?
Yeah, I have, yeah, and I'll,
Okay, dear-
wait, because I need to try and read along, because I need to see if he changed what we talked about last time. Okay,
Okay, dear
Ready?
Nathan. Fraser Park Public Utility District is in need of a temporary construction and access easement over, comma, on and across your property for the purpose of replacing its well 5 / which is over 50 years old and is failing, period. The situation is somewhat precarious, comma, in that the well casing has been patched to cover several locations that have failed, comma, resulting in reduced water production. The well must be replaced as soon as possible, period. The current status is that the replacement well has been bid, comma, a contractor has been selected, and a contract awarded for drilling and equipping the replacement well, period. It is possible that drilling could start as early as 30 to 60 days from now, period. Access to the well site is very limited, period. It is not possible to get a drilling rig into the site from the west side of the well site, period. The only way to get a drilling rig into the site is to cross your property, comma, and use a small area to construct the replacement well, period. And it says, in parentheses, see the attached drawing, period. And then it says, access would be needed for a period of 60 to 90 days for drilling the well. The district hereby offers you blank based on the appraisal performed by Valbridge Property Advisors in Bakersfield. Also attached, and there's a space in there, an extra space you need to get rid of, is a copy of the temporary easement deed for your signature, comma, which must be notarized, period. This temporary easement is only for a short time, 60 to 90 days in parentheses, as it is for the drilling of a replacement well. Just to be clear, slash the dash. The replacement well is on district property, comma, which is the well site that is adjacent to your west property line, period. The temporary easement would only be for access and positioning for the drilling equipment, comma, well construction materials, comma, disposal of water from well testing, comma, and drilling crew, period. If this offer is acceptable, please sign the enclosed temporary easement deed and have your signature notarized and return it to the district in the enclosed envelope. Upon receipt, the district will first remit payment to you for the appraisal value of the easement, comma, and will thereafter record the easement in the Kern County Recorder's Office, period. This offer remains open and capable of acceptance until close of business on blank 2022. Please call me with questions or concern. Thank you for your consideration, comma, D. Jasper, District Engineer.
The only thing I see is when you decide on the offer amount, the last paragraph talks about the appraisal amount. You would have to change it to whatever the offer was, because the appraisal amount is $190.
Well, but we can't change that.
Can't change what?
The appraisal amount.
Well, we know that.
Well, we're saying it, but it's talking about we'll give them a check for the appraisal.
He's
amount,
saying
but it'll be
appraisal
greater than the
value of the easement, and it's not gonna be, it's gonna be the first, we will first remit payment to you for the greater than, or for the corrected appraisal. I don't know, we need to put.
I think
something
we
in
need
there.
to put in there that the appraisal amount is $190. However, Fraser Park Public is offering you said amount. You know what I'm saying? So that they know it's more than.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, because the 190 is so small.
Dee, do they get a copy of the appraisal?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, so they'll know what the appraisal amount is. That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah, but
I
it's still, I think
But
it's
to
good.
punch it in there.
Yeah, but it's still to
Yeah.
have it in the letters, so then they can see what we're offering.
so Dee, it needs to say something like based on the first page. It needs to say something after the amount, something like based on on a decision of the board and the appraisal performed by Valbridge Property Advisors in Bakersfield.
Yes, I can.
And then the same thing on the second page, it would need to say, will first remit payment to you for the, I would just say, I would take out appraisal value and I would just say upon receipt, the district will first remit payment to you for the temporary easements and will thereafter record the easement in the Kern County Recorder's Office. So I think you can take away for the appraisal value of the easement and just say for the temporary easement.
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah, makes
Everything,
sense, I
everything
think.
else you had fixed from the previous letter. And then we also probably need to look at your letter to Lawrence to make sure that after we decide on the
He's trying
amount.
to figure out where you want him to change this
Well-
letter.
I know, but before we can say the amount, I need you guys to know that this doesn't mean that Lawrence is going to approve this amount. It may be coming out of our pocket if we go with an amount
That
that
was
isn't
gonna
what
be my next
Lawrence
question.
Well, it
is
could,
okay with.
Yeah, but
it could be, but Lawrence didn't seem to think, he said it would require a letter explaining why you did it.
Why we want
And,
it higher.
and since we're putting in a $1.5 million well, $500 to $1,000 is negligible for that, so. That was my.
Director Schoenberg.
Okay, so my take on this is we need to be really careful because we're walking a fine line. If they see that we go up, X percentage from the appraised value, then when the appraised value comes in for the entire property, they're gonna want X percentage more. So I think we need to be very careful of offering too much money because, they're gonna want more than believe me, I know they're gonna want. I could be crazy, but I think they're gonna want to negotiate with us above the appraised value for the actual easements and not the permanent easement and not the temporary
Even
easement.
the whole well.
And I'm not really okay with
That was
establishing,
my fear
okay,
too.
hold on, I'm not really okay with establishing a much higher amount, even though it's only for a temporary easement. I think that can set a really dangerous precedent, so I think we need to be very careful with considering that, and we need to talk to our attorney about that. And I think we need to make sure that Warren is okay with that as well.
Johnny?
Two things. One, I don't know that we necessarily have time to talk to the attorney and do that whole thing again, because we got to get this out because the drilling schedule is going to come in soon, and then we have to have this resolved already. The second thing is, for the permanent easement, the state and eminent domain is going to dictate what we pay, and it's going to be based on appraisal at the time. Dee can correct me if I'm wrong, but if they try to ask something outlandish, we go back to court like we had to before, and the appraisal and the court is going to decide what the fair amount is. They're not going to be able to say, well, no, we want twice as much because you went up 50% on the first for the temporary easement. Now we want you to go up 50% on the permanent one because the court is going to decide that.
Right.
I'm relatively certain that is going to be our avenue when we're doing the Lake of the Woods, is we're going to have to go back for the eminent domain or whatever they call
Except
it.
they can show that they can show in court that we were willing to go 50% higher on this
What I'm saying
one.
is that doesn't matter because the
No,
court
it will.
and the court and the state is going to dictate what the eminent domain is.
Then
But
they'll
that's not the pricing.
now too,
That's
right?
not the pricing.
Okay, Dee, would you like to chime in on this?
Yeah, I don't think there's any risk with what we're doing now with respect to what's going to be the permanent easement for access and for the new well. Those are two separate animals, and we're not. They can argue all they want, but it'll be the appraised value of that. And right now, what we're talking about is a temporary situation and trying to be reasonable so that we don't get into litigation, which is going to take us, it's going to cost us a whole lot more than what we're talking about. So I don't think there's any risk at all there with respect to the permanent easement. And we can verify that with Alan, but we do, what we're doing here is offering what I think is a reasonable amount for what we're really going to do on this property.
And what amount are you recommending, Dee?
$1,000.
$1,000? Okay.
Director
And-
Schoenberg?
I will just say that we offered a reasonable extra amount for accessing the property based on your recommendation, which we ended up going to court anyway. So I'm just gonna chime in on that.
Yeah, we may end up going to court anyway, but
Oh, wait, so they got extra money for us paying money and going to court.
No, I mean,
Well-
there's no way to foresee that or dictate that. We got to
I
treat this
get
like.
that, I'm just saying, I'm allowed. to
No, the
say
best
that.
predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
Okay, but they also found out what happened last time we went to court. They found out that,
They know that, yeah, they
they
know
found
that,
out what the truth is. They thought that they could fight it. They found out they can't, so all they did was pay attorney fees to go to court against us. And if we get into a court battle with this, is my only argument, we gotta get this well in as soon as we can, because if we hit the dead of summer, we're in trouble. If well 5, if well 7 affects well 5's production, and well 6 is already in April running 24 hours a day, where are we gonna get the extra water to fill in for well 5? So we don't wanna be in the middle of August with
We
the
are gonna
drilling.
be, we are gonna be. The drillers are not gonna just move forward just because we do this. The
Well,
drillers already give us what's the date that they're talking about, Dee? It's summer.
We don't have a date.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you getting so angry, Lisa?
I'm-
We're just debating, and then you guys are gonna make the decision. It's not a personal affront to anybody. I'm just trying to voice the opinion of the operator, the manager that has to provide the water, and not wanting to get into a legal battle over $500. That's all I'm saying. If you guys want to offer $500, offer $500, and then we'll just take it from there. But it's not a personal thing. I'm just voicing my opinion.
And that's important.
Yeah, I
But
think,
when I was thinking about giving them extra money for, above the appraisal for the temporary, then I thought to myself,
let me,
they could fight us on this,
let me- I can-
They
I
could be
can-
He's trying
problematic.
to talk.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I was interrupting. I'm sorry.
No, please forgive me, Dee.
On your screen there, I've put the temporary easement, the access easement, and the temporary construction easement on, hopefully it shows up on your screen.
yeah,
And you can see
Yeah.
where, we're coming in, we're actually using SEA's drive approach. And then we're going right along the fence line, 30-foot wide access easement to get all the equipment in. And then we're going to a third of an acre area that will be our drilling pad. And it will also be the location where we store sand, and that's where the casing will be, and drilling pipe and all the rest of the equipment and supplies that we need to drill a well. So that's what we're talking about right there.
now Dee, how far, is that a house right there?
Across the street.
Across the street, how far is that from, how far is their septic from?
Too close.
Well, no matter where we put it, that's why we're setting the sanitary seal at 100 feet.
100 feet,
Because-
yeah.
Because we have the houses all right there.
Right.
The original place I wanted to put it was just to the east of the tank, which was the same distance away as it will be at the south end of the booster house.
Yeah.
So that's just a fact that we have to deal with, because if you look at where it says, to answer the earlier question, if you look at where that 30-foot access easement out to the right
Yeah.
shows,
Uh-huh,
well 8 is gonna be 20 feet out from that, further to the south,
right,
somewhere in that area that Dee is pointing out. So
right,
Oh, okay.
so we
Yeah.
need to keep well 8 as far away from well 7 as we can, so that they don't interfere with each other.
right.
Okay, so well 8 is gonna go more toward the driveway.
Yeah, 100 feet off the driveway to the west and 50 feet off the property line approximately.
So kind of where that gray spot
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, where the arrow was.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah.
circling in there.
Where's arrow circling?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's very helpful, Dee, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, because I knew that it was gonna go down the fence, but I didn't realize about the square.
well, that's where they have to stage everything.
Right.
Because the drilling rig is gonna be approximately 40 feet long. And you can see where to the left, to the west of where we're gonna drill the well, there's no room there. It's, somebody's house and
Right.
access to the A-frame up on the hill, to my
Yeah.
car's A-frame. So that's why we have to park the rig to the east on Tate Ranch while we're drilling.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
so where are we at on this?
okay,
Money.
are you okay with the letter?
The letter is, with that other amendment that I mentioned, you got that, right, Dee? The, on page 1,
Dee, did you get the amendments on the letter?
I got the general gist of it. There was, my hearing isn't quite that good. So what I'll do is I will make a modification to the letter and then bounce it off Alan and the ad hoc committee, if that's okay. And then we'll go ahead and get it sent.
yeah, so all I'm proposing is to just say based on a decision of the, or based on a decision of the board,
Mhm.
Based on the appraisal and. the board
appraisal and a decision of the board. And then on the second page that you remove appraisal value completely and you just say remit payment to you for the temporary easement.
Is there a way you can do that? Email him that?
Yes, I've got that.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
So then we just, okay, now the next sticking point is the amount, right?
Yes, and the time that we're going to give them to accept the offer.
Well, I don't think we should wait a long time as far as the time. But as far as the amount, I'm okay with $1,000. I think even the past thing is past behavior, because, I guess my question is, that's what we're offering, and then if we have to go to court,
Once you offer that, that's what we've ended up paying, like when we offered 5,000 and they took the 5,000
right,
and then did not do what they said they were gonna do, we paid for court and the 5,000.
all right, well, I mean, I think,
I am a little.
but what I'm gonna,
You can still base it off
okay,
it.
can I say something?
Yeah.
I think that the relationship, even though they've given us problems in the past, there's been a lot of discussion with Johnny. There's been a lot of discussion that about this whole access and everything before. I'm thinking that they already, like he said, they've already been to court. They already had to incur court fees. I don't think that they're going to ignore it or press it, because it's only going to hurt them. Now, could they? Yes. But I mean, I think that if we're showing a good faith effort, that we're being more than reasonable, that's why I'm okay with the money.
You can also, whatever amount you decide on, Dee said he'd run it by Alan, so if Alan sees a problem with it, then he could come back to a lesser amount.
Our attorney had a strong opinion on it when we talked to our attorney.
He has a strong opinion
And
on
I'm
the
weighing on the
relationship.
side of our attorney's opinion.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. It'd still be based on Alan's opinion, but you guys have to vote on an amount now and then let Alan decide.
okay, what was Alan's opinion? We weren't in.
I don't
privy to
think
that.
Alan ever offered it.
He didn't offer an
He wasn't part
amount.
of
He
this.
was of the opinion that we were probably gonna go to court.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
He was of the opinion that we're probably going to have to go to court again. He was hoping not. But he was not happy with what happened on the last go
Right.
around.
Which I don't know that just because we offer $1,000, that if we end up having to go to court, that we have to pay more than the appraisal amount. You could put something in there based on a board decision, and an act of
Kindness?
yeah, something along them lines. We're offering this amount. Then if we have to go to court, we're gonna charge them we're gonna pay them the appraisal amount.
Well,
Put a little blue.
I think that's how that works, actually. If he wants to challenge it in court, then we have an appraisal and then it would fall back to the amount of the appraisal.
At least
So
that
it
didn't
wouldn't be
happen.
to his advantage.
Two totally different things.
But
And then,
Alan did, when I mentioned 1,000, Alan said 500 probably would do it. But looking at what we have to do with this site, I really think 1,000 is a reasonable number, very reasonable for what we're doing and how badly we need it.
even when we came up and we were gonna do And first we had to go to court to get the test well, and then everything was scheduled. Then they wouldn't even let us on the property for 2 days. We had to go to a different
But
site
it's
first.
two totally different, it's different circumstances. That happened because we made an agreement with Nathan Aries. Nathan Aries, in the meantime, leased the property to another group of guys. That group of guys didn't have it communicated from Nathan Aries. They're the ones that held it up at the gate. That's why we had that problem. This time, we need to make sure that Nathan is well informed, that he knows he has to notify his tenants that he gave access to that property, which is another thing I would like to ask Alan, do we have to have Nathan Aries sign off on this? Or since we have people that are leasing the property, if they are able to give the temporary easement, because I think they would be easier to deal with than Nathan.
Yeah, but they don't have ownership.
They don't, but they have the right
Possession of the property.
possession of the property, and since we're not changing the property, we're only driving across it, they would, I think they would have the right to give authorization to access the
No,
property.
it'd be like subletting. I disagree.
Okay, well, that's why I said I would ask Alan.
Yeah, I
But
think we should
whoever,
ask
we
Alan,
need to
but
make
I
sure that both parties are aware of this agreement.
Well, we keep kicking
At the
this
beginning.
around. This is, that we should, I mean, at this point, how soon do we need to get this letter out?
Soon, right away,
Yesterday,
because the chances are, like Lisa said, it could be months before they schedule. They also could have something fall through and say, okay, we're ready to mobilize in 30 days, which means we gotta have the access to do it.
So we can't get Lawrence to okay it.
Yeah,
Right?
you already said you.
So
I'm
we're
not
hoping
worried,
he will, but if he doesn't, it comes out of FPPUD.
I'm not
right?
gonna worry about $500.
Which is our well anyway, so
It's our well.
it's not the Lake of the Woods project.
It's not Lake
our
of the
first-
Woods project, and I'm not, I mean, I don't think it's worth our time quibbling over $500, to be honest with you. That's my opinion.
Would you like to make a motion?
Well, it's more than $500, it'll be $1,000.
Well, yes, but,
$500 a month, right?
Well,
yeah, but I mean, I'm
Are you
assuming,
saying 500 a month? Because then 1,500 possibly.
no, we're just saying $1,000, period.
I thought we were gonna say $1,000 a month and then prorated for any time we didn't need it.
No, not
So now it's
1,000 a month.
2,000 going to
Okay.
3,000
Alright.
potentially.
No, we're talking about $1,000
Well,
total.
whatever, let's just, whatever, let's just do it.
Well, I just want it straight because we're.
And you weren't talking to about $1,000 a month. Were you?
No, it's $1,000 total,
The whole deal?
and, you
Total
know,
for
it's
all the
gonna
people.
take, it's gonna take the time that it takes, and hopefully we'll only be in there a month or, 45 days, but
So it's $1,000 total.
Well, potentially it could be up to 90 days, correct?
Right.
yes. mhm.
Right,
So 1,000 to cover that whole period, I
right.
think is reasonable.
So I'll make a motion that we offer Nathan Aries $1,000 for the temporary easement.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call it, directors. Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
Abstain?
Director Kelly,
I'm gonna vote no.
You have a vote.
I'm gonna vote no too.
Okay, motion not carried. So then,
I'm only abstaining because I would like to, one more time before we vote on this, consult again with our.
we can't wait
attorney.
another 2 weeks for another meeting,
Well,
Director Schoenberg.
I have two questions. I have a question of whether we can actually contact the leaseor, leasee, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can, because I think that's like a sublet, and then
I think that would bite us in the butt if we went into litigation, right?
possibly, but I don't know, because I'm not an
You can
attorney,
still,
and then
you can still pass
I'm,
things based on what Alan's advice is.
Alan's advice was 500, so.
No, I meant the whole thing that you said you wanted to wait 2 weeks for the next decision. is you pack, whatever you decide now, you say, yeah, whatever Alan says, this is our guidelines, whatever Alan says, let's go ahead and change the letter and send it. It don't have to come back to the board again. If you guys put in the
Okay, so
parameters.
I'll do a friendly amendment to your motion, which
Okay,
will allow me to vote yes.
okay.
My friendly amendment would be either 500 or 1,000 based on what our attorney recommends and based on us asking the question if we can negotiate with the person leasing the property currently as opposed to Nathan Harris.
I'll accept that friendly amendment.
So do we need to vote again?
Yes.
Director Garcia?
Aye.
Director Nyman?
Aye.
Director Schoenberg?
Aye.
Director Kelly?
Aye.
Director Gibson is no. 4-0. Or 4-1?
Or 1-0.
4-1-0.
That's it.
Okay.
4-1.
Oh, moving on to running the
Motion
meeting,
passed.
right? Poorly.
C.
Discussion vote on plans and
Can
specifications.
I just say before we move on, that the ad hoc should be a part of that conversation that you have with Alan B, if possible.
No problem.
Thank you.
I'll set it up.
Discussion vote on plans and specifications for the meter replacement.
I think we decided that we were gonna hold off on this for a little while, the plans and specs.
Wait,
Right, but
didn't
I-
I table that?
I don't know,
Well,
but
you said D.
Only
You didn't
D.
get, you didn't
I would
say-
also like to point
C.
out something I found out today,
Oh, yeah, I did.
or I found out yesterday. Meters right now I ordered 24 meters and the lead time is January
23 or 24?
23.
Thank you.
So it's several months out just to get meters. Now, I don't know if smart meters are gonna have the same lead time. The smart meter rep told me last month that it was only about 3 months out. But right now, the regular meters we use is January, so it's looking like we have plenty of time. Plenty of time anyway, because of this backlog on everything.
But where are we at on that, D?
We have a draft 90% plans and specifications for your review, so we can get those to the district in whatever form you'd like, 24 by 36 sheets and 11, 8.5 by 11 for the specifications, or we could ship it out via PDF. Just your preference.
I would like a large paper copy so I could go over it on my desk. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yep, I like that too. We could send maybe 3 copies of the plans and specs. Would that be sufficient?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're done?
Thank you, Dean.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Ben?
No, now we just have E now, I guess.
Discussion vote on claims and payouts.
I don't think we have any.
Okay.
Well, the only reason I have that in there is I believe that I just want to make sure that we understand, because at the state update meeting, it was told to us by Lawrence that we were able to move forward on any claim payout that we put in. And so I just want, they're not here tonight, so we can't tell Oscar that, but I want to have it on record because it's, I want to amend a spot on the state update minutes as well to make sure that that's reflected. But that was,
And they weren't at the state update meeting?
yes, they were at the state, no, they weren't, Oscar wasn't at, Carlos was at the state update meeting, but I'm not positive that that got relayed to.
Oscar.
Yeah, Carlos was there and not Oscar.
Hello. President.
Tiffany?
I spoke to Oscar yesterday. He knows that we could put claims through. He asked me to resend him all the invoices for D Jasper to make sure that our information lines up. So I sent him those today and he's going to have claim 3 for the next planning meeting. A month from.
Okay, yeah, that was my only
Okay.
concern because I felt like he was still apprehensive about putting in the claim. So,
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, discussion vote on pipeline replacement project. A, discussion vote on technical assistance work plan.
so D. D,
Yes,
have you signed the contract with, self-help? Did they give you a new contract to sign? Because,
The update.
Tiffany's got an update,
Tiffany?
never mind.
I spoke to Carlos today, so he and Oscar have been in that conference / meeting or whatever all week. So he said he hasn't drafted the amendment yet, but he's gonna do it probably next week when he gets back. And then he'll send it to Dee, so he hasn't done it.
Okay.
so the answer is no.
So based on that, I don't think we can even discuss, even though I'd only tabled 2 things. I don't think that we can discuss anything else because we can't even move forward until we have that. So I would add tabling B and D.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
I,
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Gibson, I, 500. 11, discussion vote update on Cal OES Community Power Resiliency Allocation to Special Districts Grant, discussion vote update on purchasing of generators.
I forget if it was in the state meeting, I covered this, or in the last regular meeting, so stop me. We've been having an issue with speccing out tier 4 generators. The other Caterpillar, Quinn, has confirmed that getting somebody to say, yes, these generators are gonna work without wet stacking is the biggest problem with tier 4 generators. So right now Curtis is looking into some options. One is trying to get PTS Rentals to agree to eating some of the cost of putting permanent load banks on the generators, which cost more in fuel, but it also will make it to where they won't wet stack. Or seeing about how to get our money back to deposit if Quinn could provide tier 3 generators, because we decided not to go with tier 3 because San Joaquin Air Pollution Control Board typically won't approve tier 3. Quinn says that they've had success in it because you get a waiver stating you can use tier 3 because you cannot get something spec'd out for tier 4 because they don't have the technology yet. So Curtis has been working on different options before we make a decision on which way to go, trying to figure out what we can do. Can Quinn provide tier 3 for sure? 2, can we get approved by San Joaquin for sure in the amount of time that we have, or if we need to start arguing with PTS Rentals. We would probably end up, if we go that route, we would probably have to offer part of the cost to put the load banks on it, which I still wouldn't be opposed to because it's something that obviously is out of his hands. Not being able to spec it out exactly. But, so anyway, that's where we're at.
Well,
We're kind of,
what is the cost of load banks?
I think it was, you remember D, was it like 6,000 a piece?
6 to 8, something like that.
So there's
Yeah.
another option. If we don't put a load bank on each one, we could also buy the load bank for 8,000, or now with price increase, say $10,000. With the training of the crew on how to put it under load and clean out the exhaust, and then us do our own maintenance on it, as opposed to putting one permanent on each generator. So that's why there's a multifaceted thing that we're gathering information so you guys can make a informed decision when we get it to you. So we're hopefully Curtis will have something by the next meeting, next regular meeting.
Well,
and
I'm
then you
sure
can decide.
PTS is not gonna wanna, we've already given them $160,000.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're not gonna wanna undo that.
Well, they may decide that they want to now because he's finding out, see, what's been happening, what's been taking so long is we've been paying the electrical engineer, Joe Prevender, to verify the information that PTS is given. PTS is given these figures saying, okay, this is within the accepted parameters. Joe Preventer, this expert in the whole San Joaquin Valley, maybe Southern California, is saying, no, your calculations are incorrect. None of these generators fall within those parameters. But by the same token, apparently nobody could really provide accurate
Tier 4
tier 4 because
calculations.
the real problem comes into play where we don't have, it's called a soft start. The motors don't just kick on. They come up slowly, so it doesn't require such a big generator. So you can spec it out closer within those parameters, but we don't have any of those in our system. So it's gonna be very problematic to get it to work.
Hard.
There's some new information too, Johnny, that I talked to Curtis this afternoon, and he had been talking with Greg, and Greg looked at the actual loads that these motors run at, and thinks that that actually they can downsize the size of the generators, and they will run at greater than 40% of their load, and without, of course, then wet stacking, and they'll start the motors. Now, that's the issue. Will they start the motors? And so he's going to put some calculations together, but again, we won't go with those. Joe Preventer will have to look at that. Curtis talked with Joe today and told him what PTS was suggesting could be done. And Joe said, sure, we'll look at that. But these generators have to be able to start the motors as well as run at 40%. So Greg thinks he has another solution. So the story goes on and on, but that it may be that that's the solution, but we can easily determine from Joe whether or not these generators will meet the starting torque that's required to start the pumps. And so that's that would be the big issue in downsizing the generators just a little bit in order to keep them within that greater than 40% of their load capability. So that's kind of the latest thing that's new this afternoon. And
That's good news.
So do you think we'll have information by the next regular planning meeting? Dee?
It will depend on Greg, how quickly he gets his calculations to us so that we can get them to Joe. We've had various response times. Some were quicker than others, but I don't know. I would hope so.
Do these people know that we're under a time crunch?
Yes, they do.
Believe me, Curtis and Dee have been, and myself have stressed that thoroughly. The only thing is that we're relying on Joe Preventer's opinion, since he's the expert, to protect us, because if something happened, we would rather, if we just totally got taken in this deal, we would be out the money anyway, whether we met the timelines or not. So we have to take the extra time to ensure that they're gonna work. So that's why we're taking extra long. But Dee and Curtis is countless times reached out to him. I've gone down there several times. We've had meetings together with him, so he understands the time frame. And I'll hit him up again on Monday too and say, what's going on.
At the end of this year, don't we have to either have the money spent or return it?
Yeah, but if we solidify this in the next month and Greg places the order for all these generators, then we're gonna be able to show that the order generators, everything was all ordered, the money's spent, we won't have to give it back. Because the money will have been spent, whether we have it sitting in the yard or not, it still has been spent and we've ordered it. So that's what it's boiling down to. Okay.
Okay. So,
We,
did we already discuss engineering and design? Was that covered? No?
yet.
Okay, engineering and design.
Well, we gotta wait till we get some generators selected before we do that. And so that's really something that's waiting on a decision on the generators.
Okay.
Okay.
12.
Discussion vote on installing the nitrate analyzer.
The analyzer has, PJ has it. I think it's either next week or early the following week. They're gonna come out and install it. Then we'll set up a time for Hawk, the manufacturer of it. They come out and they do the actual startup of it and, programming and everything. So we're moving forward with that as well. And Jesse's informed on the status of that.
Yeah, didn't he have some questions in the
Yeah,
state meeting?
Yeah.
At the state update meeting, it was just, Jesse, just wanted, as soon as it was installed, he wanted to start getting readouts as quickly as he could. But we explained that it wasn't installed yet.
And we did receive the approved corrective action plan from Jesse several days ago, I think early in the week, Johnny, something like
Yeah, we got an email a few days ago and then I got the hard copy today.
that. Okay,
Yeah, that's actually really important because I don't think the directors heard that part, is that Jesse did say that he's taking the blending off the table because there really isn't a good way of blending well 6 and well 5 together. So so that's off the table. So it's really just something we would like to get as soon as possible once the nitrate analyzers installed, numbers flowing so that he can keep an eye on where we're at with that, but that the plan is no longer including a blending plan.
And again, there, like I said earlier, Ben saying, by the time we get this all worked out with the analyzer and it's working right, we're gonna be able to stop sending out notices and all that stuff. I anticipate having the well installed. It's gonna not have nitrates anyway.
And then, do we have to then move that nitrate analyzer to the new well?
Well, no, see, actually, the way P&J and Curtis have been talking about it, it's gonna be installed in the booster house instead of in the existing well house. So when we do put the other online, it's still gonna be hooked up for wherever the water source is coming from. So that's gonna work out well for us.
Oh, okay, so then we don't have to move
buying
it.
one
Yeah.
instead of several.
Yeah, right, and we ain't gonna have to modify anything for the next well, because when it's tied in, the sensor's gonna be put on the inlet to the tank, I believe. Is that right? D?
it'll be on the well discharge, actually, Johnny, that's where we're going now.
Into the new well house?
No, it won't be in the well house, it'll be on the discharge piping. It could be, the
Yeah.
analyzer itself will be in the pump house, but not in the well house, and the sensor will be on the discharge
Yeah, and the
of the
discharge,
well.
is gonna, they'll still be tied into the same discharge pipe as we got currently, right? D?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll hook up the new pipe, it's still gonna be censored in that water, so.
So it won't matter which well it's on, okay.
No. I think that's all we got for you, Dee. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank
Well,
you,
yeah,
Dave.
you're welcome. I'll set up a meeting with the ad hoc committee, and Johnny, you and I and Alan, see if we can get that tomorrow. Is everybody available tomorrow, ad hoc committee?
Let me see, hold on. I know I have a doctor's appointment in the afternoon,
Well, Barry just went to the restroom.
and one of the directors is in the restroom.
Let me see.
I have a doctor's appointment in the morning. About 10 to 12.
Yeah, I have 2 appointments actually, so I have a morning appointment and a late afternoon appointment, but I could potentially be on a phone call. What time is yours over?
10 to 12.
Yeah, and I'm not necessary to the conversation anyway, because you guys are the ones that have to make the decision, so.
I'm good, D, if it was like at like 12 or 11 or 1. I just have to, I'll still be up here at that point. I just have to leave for Bakersfield probably by 2. Jerry, are you available
From 11 to 1.
tomorrow for a phone call sometime around 11, 12 or 1? So somewhere in there, D is fine, depending on when the attorney can be available. I'm definitely not available 9 to 10:30, and I'm not available for sure after like 2:30 or 2.
I'll, if we can't make it work, and I don't know Alan's schedule, but if we can't make it work tomorrow, we'll do it Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I can do that.
So Jerry and I will come here if you let us know ahead of time for the call. So we just need to know. I just need to know by morning so I can check my phone to come here. So I would either before, well, we won't because you have to talk to him probably tomorrow. So I guess if we can know it by like 10:30, I'll check my phone at 10:30.
I'll send out an email to Alan now. Sometimes he's usually working late, so if he does reply tonight, I'll send out an email to the ad hoc committee, so we'll know for sure.
And if for some reason it's afternoon and it works for everyone else, I'll just get on the phone. I just can't be on the phone at like 4:30, but I could potentially be on the phone while I'm driving.
Okay. And Gerald, you're all right?
I'm open all day, Dee.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll make it happen somehow.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you,
You're
Dee.
welcome.
Thank you, Dee.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Discussion, review vote on the employee handbook.
What page are we on?
I think we're on 15.
Family and medical leave, if eligible. I can continue reading if it's okay.
Are we gonna take can we take this, I also have to go to the restroom. I said,
Right.
everyone's been going, but
Yes, go ahead.
I need to
Wait.
find my,
I move we take 10-minute break.
I'll second that.
Okay, Director Garcia,
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg,
I,
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Gibson's and I. Motion passed 500.
Okay, 10-minute break.
muted.
Okay. We're beginning our meeting after a break. And we are going to discuss the employee handbook.
7:45.
7:45.
7:45.
Okay. I had a discussion about a different topic, but it pertains to the employee handbook with Jerry Pearson, an email conversation. And he wanted to make sure that this went to him. And I said, we already planned on that. He's gonna be making suggestions or recommendations, but everything that I see from page 15 to 35, the bottom of 35, dress codes and personal standards, is stuff that is total legalese. It's the state law, family and medical leave, pregnancy, disability leave, all personal leave, all of that stuff, domestic violence, assault, all that stuff is related, military and military spouse leave, all that stuff is legalese that is gonna, Jerry Pearson's gonna plug in what's current at the time. So we don't have to read it verbatim unless you guys insist, because we can't make
Any changes?
any changes in that stuff anyway.
So he'll plug in the COVID stuff?
He'll do all that stuff, everything that applies to current now. And the one exception I've seen,
You
And
said
there's-
35?
the one exception to that was just a change in holiday, when a holiday is recognized, because it has to be changed to the 3-day weekend thing. So I'll try to find that here for you real quick.
Oh, the holiday.
Yeah, on page 24,
Yeah.
it's talking about when a holiday falls on a Saturday, it will be observed the preceding Friday, but now it's 3-day weekends. When a holiday falls on Friday, it will be observed the preceding Thursday. And when it falls on a Sunday, it will be observed the following Monday. So that's the one change right there, just because. of the
It's already made it,
3-day weekend. Yeah, well, that's stuff that I put when I
Oh, okay.
made the suggestion. So other than that, we could skip to
Top of 36.
bottom of 35. Oh, no,
Conflicts of interest.
yeah, top of 36, disciplinary action. And even that is gonna be the same. Because it's based on law. I think the top of 37 is the first time where I wanted you, the dress codes and other personal standards, we could start there if you would like. Skip the rest. Dress codes and personal standards.
Okay, bottom of 36.
Yeah.
Is that all right with everybody?
There we-
Yeah.
Dress codes and other personal standards.
I think Lisa just wanted to make sure that there wasn't something that she's seen in the meantime, right? And leading up to this point, I was asking if anybody had a problem with skipping to 36.
I'll just read through and see if I see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
make
can come
your
back.
notes and give them to Tiffany for Jerry. Cool.
Okay. Employees are expected to wear clothing appropriate for the nature of our business and the type of work performed. Clothing should be neat, clean, and tasteful. Avoid clothing that can create a safety hazard. The general manager may issue more specific guidelines. Because each employee is a representative of the district in the eyes of the public, each employee must report to work properly groomed and wearing appropriate clothing.
Can I,
Mhm.
can we stop? I think that we need to put in the wearing of the clothes with the insignia and
Provided.
stuff. Yeah, because we're not talking about that.
That's what it does in this next paragraph. Field employees are required to wear uniforms and hard hats furnished and maintained by the district. Next page.
Because each employee is a representative of the district in the eyes of the public, each employee must report to work properly groomed and wearing appropriate clothing. Employees are expected to dress neatly and in a manner consistent with the nature of the work performed. Avoid extremes in clothing such as flashy, skimpy, or revealing clothing. Employees who report to work inappropriately dressed may be asked to check out and return in acceptable attire. Field employees are required to wear uniforms and hard hats furnished and maintained by the district. A Cal OSHA approved safety boot must be worn by field employees during working hours. The district will reimburse up to $150 annually upon production of a receipt for each field employee.
You guys will have to vote on that, because that was my suggestion.
Yeah, anything you read is what Johnny's. put in.
Okay.
Red and highlight, I suggest.
Reimburse up to $75 annually upon production of a receipt for each field employee. Employees who need a reasonable accommodation because of religious beliefs, observances, or practices should contact the general manager.
So I
I'll
think
stop
we
there
should.
until we decide what we want to put in that yellow area.
And in the yellow area, I would say at least 150. You can't buy any decent work boot now for less than 200 bucks.
I was gonna say, you can't even buy tennis shoes for $75.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so what we've done is, what I started doing is, I know that I'm gonna spend 200 or 250 on a pair of boots. I save it up, I just make do, or I buy myself a junky pair of boots that I can wear in the meantime for 2 years.
Yes.
Then I've had $150 thing, but my boots are worn out long before the reimbursement comes into play. Everything just costs so much now. So whatever you guys think.
Yeah, Ori or someone just bought boots and we had, reimbursed them, but he spent way over.
Yeah, we had to spend way over, because you want boots that they're gonna wear that are protection, but they also have to wear these boots to walk all over town. So,
What did he spend for boots?
Huh?
What did he?
I think him and I don't remember exactly him, but Sean and Logan before that, they spent $300 on Red Wing boots. And these, I think the last time I bought these was $240 bucks. And I got these from Boot Barn, and they're nothing.
These are Red Wings and they're over $200.
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
A little figure.
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, literally, you go to, even down to Walmart, you're paying $60 for a pair of nothing tennis shoes.
Yeah, and work boots, when I first started here in 2009, I was paying $75 for a pair of Walmart boots that were terrible. So that was 13 years ago, $75. So whatever you guys think is good for the boots.
And that's yearly, right?
Yeah, a year, yeah.
Well,
And, one thing Lisa brought up, not to make this last longer, is it doesn't really spell out all the things that we provide in the way of uniforms.
that's true, it doesn't.
Because a long time ago, we decided it'd be $200 a year for pants. Well, you used to be able to get 10 pairs of pants for $200. Now you can't get anywhere near 10 pair of pants. And if you're large and tall, or you got any kind of difference in you, that doesn't cover it either. Logan, I think, got 3 pairs of pants. Then when they start coming to work and they got knees torn and everything, because they don't want to buy another pair of work pants, that's why we provide the uniform, so they wear all consistent stuff. So we should spell out what we provide in the employee handbook too, at least as far as, we don't have to spell out the jackets and all that stuff, but the pants and the shirts, we should put the district will provide up to a certain dollar amount. So you can decide on the boot amount, and if you want to raise the pants allowance. And we'll put that in there.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, that's not even in here, because I know that you were just saying that you tried to get t-shirts not long ago.
Yeah, I got the t-shirts, but see, luckily, we don't necessarily, we just have to say we'll provide up to a certain dollar amount on pants, because it's too hard for me to buy the pants for everybody's size. So the t-shirts we provide, I get the sizes, I order them. I have extras in the office right now. So we don't have to raise any dollar amount on the shirts, because we have to have appropriate shirts. So if you just decide on the whatever you want on the annual boots and the annual amount on the pants, make it more reasonable.
So we need to redo this, the hard front. The uniforms are required to wear.
So it
I'm
does.
on price right
I'm
now.
on
the
Red
boots.
Wing's site,
Mhm.
and even though it says $300 for the Super Soul men's 8-inch waterproof CSA safety toe boot, they sell them for like a 82 or 100. So where do we buy them at?
At the Red Wing, well, they buy them at the Red Wing store. I've never been able to afford Red Wing, so I go to Boot Barn. So that's what I'm saying, even in Boot Barn, a decent pair is $200 is
But what
gonna
I'm,
fit you.
what I'm saying is on,
But Logan and Sean are the ones that went to Red Wing. I don't know where Corey went.
online, there's nothing, they all list for 300.
But nobody shops online because you gotta try the boots on. So they've gone down to the store itself, and that's
Yeah,
what the cost is.
I just tried buying my husband's slippers online. I've sent 2 pairs back, so. I mean, it's
Okay,
like-
so I'm gonna say the range, their not online price, their list price ranges from, for a heavy duty work boot, ranges from, they're all over $100, so like 100 to the maximum is about 300
You know, that's why he was
for
saying
the
150,
waterproof.
And if you look at Boot Barn,
200.
they range from 144 for low tops to
What do you got with that?
250. For the, wow. Just, everything's just costs so much
Do you
money.
require a steel toe?
Yeah, for their
Okay,
safety.
Director Schoenberg,
I'm gonna say we should do $300.
on boots, yearly?
A year?
That makes sense.
I mean, theoretically, a good pair of boots should last you more than a year, but these guys are in, mud and muck and
These are less than a year old. Because I'm always in mud and water, they're already cracking
So
across
I'm
the
gonna
top.
say yeah, they can get them online for a lot less, but, we would want them to use their discretion to try to get them at like a less expensive price, but
And
yeah,
I would put up to $300.
yeah, I would say up to 300, because it looks like you could get quite a range of stuff at 300.
And it's not really like it's better for us, is my point, because injured employees, as we know, cause huge problems for us.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay, Director, roll call directors, Director Garcia.
Aye.
Director Nyman,
Okay.
Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Director Gibson, aye. 4, 0,
1.
1, is that how it goes?
4-1.
4, 1,
Ayes, nays, abstentions.
okay. 4, 0, 1,
Ayes, nays, which is no, or abstentions. Somebody abstain?
He
he
abstained.
abstained,
Oh, okay, then yeah, you're right, 4-0-1.
okay, great.
I've lost my own rhetoric.
So why don't we pen in the other items that were,
Well, one thing I'd like to recommend to
and
that,
you definitely looked up, I'm sorry, before you say that, I know we were gonna look back up uniforms, but it just didn't work, like the.
yeah, it didn't work. They strung me along for 3 or 4 months and showed up, actually longer than that, almost 6 months. And then showed up with totally the wrong thing, some kind of polyester, the cheapest shirts you can ever imagine. Way after when they were supposed to. So I just told them, just take it and just go. We're not gonna do it. So the suggestion I'd like to make about the pants is, since we provide uniforms, you guys could, without putting a dollar amount in the employee handbook, you can say that we do have to order them online, and then you just direct me on how much, just like with the t-shirts, because the t-shirts, as they go up, it's gonna be X amount. You can direct me, yeah, okay, you're gonna spend this much on pants and this much on shirts. And then I do that. That way there's not a set dollar amount in here, because it says we provide uniforms.
I just think 10 pants is super expensive.
Yeah, I'm not asking for 10 pairs of
$50,
pants. I think just $200 is not enough. And if they go through, whatever pants they can get, say you raise it to 300 for pants, if they exceed that amount, they're gonna be required to do their own. 'Cause that's, to me, that makes sense. You gotta take care of your stuff. If you don't bleach all down all your pants, you can ruin them. Well, that's gonna be on you, and you're still gonna be required to dress the way I want you to when you come. My main thing is, we've had some employees here that like to try to come in with their whole knee ripped out, their whole thigh ripped out. Well, it's all I got.
It-
And that's unacceptable. We're in
It's
a-
just
in a
that
public
we're
eye.
way beyond the price that we were paying for uniforms at this point, so that's why I'm.
No, I don't think we were. I think you guys determined that it was way more, and now the uniforms are, like I said, we could try to go with a different uniform company, but the one that we earmarked,
Stephanie just had to buy pants for her job. She had to buy uniform pants,
Yeah.
and they were $70
a piece,
Oh,
for one pair.
Sugar. And she ain't that big.
No, and that was also, she had to pay for alterations.
yeah. and-
No, they included the alterations in
Okay.
70.
For 70.
And you guys have no idea what I went through with Airmark. Tiffany remembers. I mean, it was a constant weekly battle. This is what I need. This is what I need. This is the size. Yes, we'll provide it. And it was months before they ever showed up.
We're buying, basically it's good
Levi's,
looking
right?
Fine
jeans.
jeans, yeah.
Well,
Just
just not
exactly like these.
Levi's, but good looking jeans, right?
These are, I don't know, Wranglers or something, but they're not expensive. I mean, you could spend.
You think
$100
those
on
last as
these.
long as Levi's?
Yeah. I think they do. Because, and see, nowadays, even Levi's, they have many different layers.
Yeah, they've all.
Heather wanted to buy me one pair of Levi's. She bought me a pair of Levi's. They were like $80. But you can go online, you can find Levi's for $25. So it depends on,
They're about 40 though.
I
but the
think you're
difference is when I was a kid, they were pretty thick.
They're not.
You buy
Yeah,
the
they
cheaper-
stand up on
You
themselves.
buy the
Go
cheaper,
around.
No.
you buy the cheaper ones and they're super thin. You spend the mid-range, they're pretty thick. They're like these. And then the high end, supposedly they're thicker.
Good.
But yeah, so I mean, I think
Those
that
things would
everybody
save
needs
you
to pick their
if you don't
sizes
buy
and I need to
first.
just order them
They
online
would kick your butt.
because that does bring down the cost somewhat, but I just need to know. I need to be directed on,
So what can you get? $300 buys how many $40 jeans?
I don't know, let's look at,
Seven and a half.
No, I think it's 40 without tax or anything, so I think
let's look
if you're
at
buying like 6 pairs, it's about $300. I buy jeans for my brother all the time, so,
Online?
You know,
I buy them on sale.
Wherever you can find them on sale.
Well,
Yeah, the problem with buying them online, I found is every pair also has different size.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
brand has a.
They have vanity sizing for men
They-
now too.
Oh, come
and
on.
they don't carry, even when you like go buy them at a store, they don't carry, you have to go multiple places.
Yes.
They don't carry every size, like they
Right.
carry the
Me?
sizes they think are the popular size.
Okay, men's jeans, regular fit. Wranglers are $24.99. Some Levi's 505s are $31.91, $32.91 for the slim fit, which I don't like the guys wearing.
505s.
25, $31.99. So they range
505.
between 25 and 39
Or
for just regular men's work jeans.
Right.
So it depends on how many, I mean, I like the guys to
That's
at least
what I
have
was
4
at.
pairs a week, so 8 pairs would be nice, but not necessarily, I mean, you could say 7 pairs at whatever that dollar amount is, because you could wash your laundry every weekend.
Well, yeah, there should be.
Yeah, so you have 7, but then you have to make that 7 pair last the whole year, and if you don't, then you have to provide your own jeans.
Okay,
So Lisa's doing some math here.
Yeah.
40 times 7 times how many guys? Or no, I guess
You really want?
per person? Yeah,
Yeah,
per person.
Easy.
And that doesn't, then are we gonna give you a dollar amount for the t-shirts?
Yeah.
Well,
I knew you'd be.
Well, we can, you give me a dollar amount for pants, t-shirts, I don't think you necessarily need to give me a dollar amount, because I always go the same way, I go and I get the quotes, what it's gonna cost. And then I have to buy the t-shirts and I provide them for everybody that needs them, so it's whatever it's gonna cost at the time. We're not like giving a bunch of shirts to people, we typically give 10 shirts a year, because they do get ruined faster than jeans do. 10 shirts a year, but if they've already ruined their shirts because they've been working hard, you know, I don't have a problem giving them an extra 2 or 3 shirts. That's not really that big of a deal, but the pants is something that you guys need to decide, I think.
I think it's probably gonna be about the same thing, it's about $300.
I would think with inflation, that would be good too, It's up to you guys if you want to put it in.
Yeah, if they're going for the cheaper, the less expensive, like the Wranglers or whatever.
Yeah.
They could get 7 minimum, maybe
Because in this way, we can also do it the same way. If they don't want to purchase them online, they can bring me your receipt for what they do spend.
Yeah.
And we just pay up to that $300, and then the rest of it, they have to pay out of their own pocket.
Okay.
I'm not
Lisa?
gonna wear designer jeans.
I'm gonna, for now, I'm gonna move that we, do jeans up to $300 as part of the uniform.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call directors.
Aye.
Nyman,
Aye.
Schoenberg,
I,
Kelly,
Aye.
Gibson, I, 500.
Do you want to add in there, jean reimbursement up to $300?
Yes.
And the district will
Yeah, we
provide
gotta,
t-shirts?
we gotta
Yes.
reword all of this.
And district will provide t-shirts.
Teachers.
well, I think we can say up to a certain amount too, so you
And
Yeah.
we'll have to research what it cost the last time, 'cause I have no idea, I forget now.
Well, they're not gonna buy.
And they're
it.
also doing jackets and they're also doing over like the bib things, right?
Yeah, we provide all of that stuff, but that's more like for foul weather and stuff. Like last year, I didn't buy them stuff. We didn't have a really tough winter, everybody,
Well, and some of
Everybody
that
got a
stuff should last.
everybody got a coat, you know what I mean?
Right,
But what really ruins them a lot is
Working
tears,
in the hole.
tears in the hole when it's
Yeah.
super cold.
right.
And also bleach, because if it's 25 degrees and you're chlorinating, you're gonna get bleach on you. And once the bleach gets on your jacket, it runs. But
Yeah.
the jackets are still, the last time I bought them, they're still only like $70 a jacket. I'm not buying $200
No,
jackets.
you're not buying Carhartt.
I'm buying burn apparel jackets
Right,
that are good quality and they keep you warm, but they're cheap.
right,
$70 is very reasonable for a jacket.
yeah.
But I mean, can we just put it in and that way we can just
Yeah.
look at the price every year and raise the price up a little bit?
Yeah,
So we know exactly, because what if you go away and we have a manager that says, oh, I'm not buying, or a manager that wants to spend.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't care, you just list them, and we do, boots, jeans, t-shirts, which we said not to put a dollar amount on.
Well, I think we should.
A foul weather jacket, well, but that changes every year, I mean, unless you do a broader range on pricing, because that changes depending on, supply and demand. Every time I go, sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's more expensive, but I always go with just the
The thicker t-shirts.
plain
Oh, and it has
t-shirt
to
that's
have the
gonna
logo.
last. Yeah,
And then
and
putting the logo on.
Yeah, putting the logo on, so that's gonna be, it's gonna
But
change
what do
every
you,
year.
but what do you normally spend? It's like $1,000.
I don't know. Like I said, I would have to look at per piece. Because this last time I bought some extras, so when people ruin their shirts, I could give them. Plus, I also provide the board shirts when they want, so that's why I'm saying we should just say we provide the shirts. And you know me, every time you've ever authorized me to spend money, I always go for the cheapest price I can, so we provide the t-shirts, but the rest, we foul weather jacket and coveralls.
Well,
And
I'm
of
just
course, we
saying,
provide all
I
the
think it
safety
should say district will provide boots up to $300, jeans up to $300, t-shirts, whatever. blah, blah.
equipment. 10 per year.
10 per year.
10, yeah.
10 per year, and then you don't have to figure out the dollar amount. 10 per year t-shirts.
10 logo shirts per year.
Yeah,
10 FPPUD logo per year.
and the reason I didn't
A
necessarily want to put the
jacket.
jackets and coveralls in there, the only reason I was hesitating is because, like I said, this year,
We didn't need them.
I didn't have to buy them. And if I do
Well,
buy
well,
them,
then it's per year if needed.
and if I do buy them, it's later in the year, yeah, if needed, that's good.
Right,
Because
right.
that makes more sense, because because luckily, most of these guys don't want to wear their work jacket on their off hours,
Right,
so they'll be honest about it. Yeah, no, I'm good.
So a weather jacket like up to $100 and the
Yeah.
coveralls are how much?
Anywhere from 1 to 130, depending on who you are.
So up to 150?
Yeah, definitely.
So I move that we just list all this stuff. So right now we said boots up to 300, jeans up to 300, 10 t-shirts a year provided by the district with the FPPUD logo, weather jacket up to $100 and
as
coveralls
needed.
as needed, and weather
Appropriate.
appropriate coveralls up to $150 as needed.
Someone want to
motion?
second it?
So it should say one per year as needed.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call directors, Director Garcia, Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Schillenberg,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Gibson, I 500.
Can you make a friendly amendment to that real quick?
Sure.
As needed, as deemed necessary by the general manager or something like that.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so one per year as, or deemed necessary by the
By general
general
manager.
manager.
That way, if they're coming in,
Who
they're
is my-
looking great in their coveralls, I can
Then
say,
forget
oh,
it.
no, those still look good to me.
Yeah, who's the seconder?
Garcia.
You good with
I
that?
agree.
Is everybody else good with that?
We're all good
Yes.
with that, yeah.
Anyways, why would they want to be wearing their coveralls anywhere
Yeah, the
else?
coveralls and the
I guess,
jackets. are
I
not-
guess the only thing I'd worry about is them wearing them at home, working on a car or something. They shouldn't be getting greasy. You should never see them coming in greasy, you know.
Coveralls, unless.
Well, we don't know if I were to catch them at home, I guess that's one thing, but they
Right.
also wear that stuff to grease all the equipment and heavy equipment, and all that stuff too, so.
Yeah.
Luckily, we haven't had anybody really abuse that kind of stuff, so. Okay, now the drug and alcohol abuse, that's also dictated by state law. Prohibited content, same thing. Prohibited use of district cell phone while driving now. Let's see.
Punctuality and
I do have a guest and visitor. I have a thing to add. And I know this is gonna be controversial because so many of you have animals, but I don't think that we should be having an animal, particularly at the front desk. But that we should necessarily, unless there's some compelling reason, like the animal's like really sick and needs to be, but I don't think it should be like a all
Have
the
we ever
time
had any?
thing.
Have we ever had
Yeah, in
any?
the past, sure.
An animal, yeah, I'd like Cassandra bring her dog in because she felt threatened by the
Neighbor, but it was-
she felt threatened by the threats of everybody that were calling and so angry about things in the water district. So I let her bring her dog in. Plus, I was tired of hearing her damn dog howl out the back door.
But I-
Let's be
but I
thankful
think
that
it
that
can-
is in the past.
But I think that can be I'm,
Perfect.
I think if the grand jury.
Lessons of
came in,
service,
It's
what
not,
do you call that?
but I don't wanna like say never, because I want that at the general manager's discretion. If their dog was super sick and they had to like do something with it, then I don't wanna say no.
Minister
absolutely not.
medicine.
I don't know if that's something that has to be in the handbook. That's more of a SOP, but if you
Well, we have
if you just
guests and
direct me to
visitors
put,
in there.
well, yeah, the guests and visitors are
People.
when animals, there could just be a sign on the front door saying no animals unless service dogs, and then I would enforce it if there was.
so you're talking about us bringing our dogs.
What I'm saying is I would enforce it if there was a problematic dog.
I don't think that we should have I don't think at the front desk that there should be animals unless it's like there's a compelling reason. And I don't think at board meetings there should be animals
course
unless
not.
there's a compelling reason. I think if there's an animal that comes in, but it depends on whether I think right now we have a pretty messy spot that needs to be fixed up. And once we have brand new carpeting, I think that maybe we should think about that as well, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not so worried about back here because the public doesn't, if the public's here, I don't think we should have animals unless there's a super compelling reason.
So basically, I just need to put a sign on the front door
Yeah.
saying service animals.
Well, the
So
problem with
then I
service
can no longer
animals,
to because I'm usually out walking with Sienna and I come to the ad hoc and so she just comes with me. So you're saying.
right, but the ad hoc is
Don't do
not,
that.
the ad hoc's not a public meeting.
Right, and
It's
we
kinda like
close, and we
informal.
close the doors
Yeah,
Yeah, I
anyways. So
but
that
that way
I
I
don't
can
have a
enforce,
problem
that
with
way I
that.
can
I just
enforce it if somebody brings a dog in and it's
Yeah.
acting unruly. I can say, is that a service
Absolutely.
dog? You gotta tell it to.
Well, but you have an issue with service dogs because anyone can get a permit for a service, any kind of animal now, so that.
people don't too.
I know, but it's.
Oh, no, they buy everything offline now.
You
They've
can,
never
you can,
taken
you
a
can
class
get
or anything.
service. All kinds of bizarre
Service dogs. I'll
animals.
see if I can find a spot on the windows with service dogs.
No, I've got, I don't know if I'm okay with service dogs, because I'm saying people abuse that. Like it's happening all the time. You go in stores, everybody's got their animal because it's a service.
Well, I
dog.
think you got it. I think legally you got to allow service dogs, because if a vet comes in or somebody has a legitimate service dog, like I've seen lawsuits with airlines,
Well, with a,
so you have to let a service dog in regardless.
Now, there's a difference between an emotional service dog.
and
and a service dog.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna be qualified and to.
I
What's the
know, that's
difference?
why that's
Determinations.
weird.
What's the difference?
A service dog has gone through classes and is
Training.
certified by the state
Okay,
to be a service animal.
okay.
An emotional support
Support
animal
animal,
can be anything.
Anything.
And it's the problem they're having on planes right now. and
They
all
want
kinds
to
of
take goats on the planes and they want to take chickens on the plane.
What I'm saying is that if
Is
somebody,
that
if
part of
somebody,
it that happened here, but
if somebody has a service dog vest or a card saying their dog is a service dog, I'm not gonna argue the case.
that's
And
an
get us in,
actual.
and get us in a lawsuit.
But that's actually, those things are actually given by a reputable service and if they're done through the state.
Okay, granted, what I'm saying is how am I gonna be able to
You have to have a
verify?
card for them,
I'm
an
not-
ID card?
But,
Yeah.
but
Well,
how
you're
am I
not
gonna
gonna
verify
ask them
if that
for-
stuff
you're
is
not gonna
correct?
ask somebody coming in for a, oh, can I see your service card, doc? If they have a service vest on,
Right.
you're not gonna be questioning people.
I say we just avoid the whole issue, if you wanna put, employees cannot bring their dogs in to work, I guess that's fine.
It's not like-
I think it's unnecessary. I think I made a rare exception because of the situation we were in, but if you wanna put that in there, that's fine as well, you know.
But
no
they
cer-
might they might object because board members do bring their dogs.
But
Sometimes, you know what I mean? And yeah, they're back here. I don't have a problem with it.
it's just,
I'm just talking about if you were an employee and you said,
I-
we
I-
can't bring dogs?
but see, a dog coming in is one thing, taking away from your job because you're
Well, that's-
taking care of your animal
Animal.
every day is a different matter.
I think just,
That's
could you
like
just
telling
bring
me-
that up to, and have him put in the
Lawyer,
appropriate
yeah.
Add
wording
that to the
We've
note.
already.
for
Yeah,
Yeah.
service
animals.
animals.
Animals
and-
at work.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
mean,
at
'cause
guest and
Because I don't care either way.
it's with the
personally.
public, it's just the. you
Okay,
know,
we've spent a half hour on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done.
Okay, so
We're
now
stopping
next
at
one,
38
39, right?
or
38, top of prohibited
Okay,
conduct.
thank you, guys.
Who's the 28th?
Taking our break. Discussion vote on the grand jury report and the district response.
Okay,
Fun.
is there any reason to read the whole grand jury?
Did everyone read it? Let's put it that way.
I did.
I did.
I thought we came out
I read
smelling
it
like
many
roses.
times.
Or can we just
Yeah,
say,
why not?
I thought we came out smelling like roses.
No, I have,
No.
I have,
I don't think we came out smelling like roses.
I have an issue, I think we absolutely need to address their comments about having the meetings here or not having the meetings here, and I think that we need to address that as part of a formal letter or something to them, and it needs to, yes.
She's under the
Director, oh,
recommendations,
Tiffany,
right?
sorry.
So if you remember back in 2016, the district is actually legally required to provide a response to every finding and every recommendation. I made a copy of the one from 2016 if anybody's interested in perusing the format. But this is something you guys have to do within a certain amount of time, and it's the back page of the back page of the grand jury.
I think I made a mistake through mine in the recycling.
Yeah.
If you look
Yeah,
at the
find it this
bottom
way.
cleared shelf.
Within 180
printed
days.
some ex-
Yeah.
90,
6 months.
we gotta
So-
reply within 90.
So what I was
No later
gonna,
than 90
oh.
days after the grand jury submits the final report.
so that's what I was
We
gonna,
got 30 days or something, probably.
so that's what I was gonna suggest to you guys, rather than read the whole report, the findings is what we need to focus on.
Yeah.
The
You
findings
can
and
create
the- and
an ad hoc
recommendations.
if you would like, but the way I think it should be drafted is simple. The leak detection stuff they want is not financially, it's not financially feasible.
It's
Is it
cost
cost too much?
prohibitive.
Cost prohibitive, as well as staff prohibitive, because we don't have enough staff to be trained, so that's easy. Put that in there, send it back.
I'm not sure that they.
The
That was
meeting
only
room,
one thing. And
The
the other
meeting-
thing is the bigger meeting.
the bigger meeting room, we could dictate that we're already purchasing for the hybrid meetings with all the camera equipment. We can't move the camera equipment twice a month
To
to
the,
another
But we-
meeting room.
But we
To the
are
library?
paying for the park.
But we have the added problem of the park doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Right, no, but I'm saying that we can address it in a large public meeting. We will provide a
Yeah,
larger
yeah,
space.
for large hot topics, we'll go to the community building, but for the weekly meetings, it's not feasible to move it due to the hybrid meetings that we're providing due to
Mhm.
the issue. So it's just a simple statement of those two things. We can set up the chairs, like Terry's talking about, move the maps out of the way, set up the chairs, move that desk out of the way, take a picture and say, this is what our meeting room is now. And
Yes.
provide seating up for however many people,
Well,
15 people. On average, we have 6
Three.
people, maybe from Lake of the Woods that wants to participate.
But they're on.
I know, I'm just saying
Continue
that
on,
before that, on average, we would have limited people showing up
Right.
anyway,
Right.
with plenty of chairs left, so I think that that's gonna resolve that issue. Didn't we find out the time frame we got?
90 days, they said.
No later than 90 days after the grand
Okay.
jury
And
submits.
what's
To
the
the
date
reply.
on that? What's the
But
date
we
on
have
that letter?
180 days
April
to
7th.
comply.
April
April
7th?
14th is
7th.
when they released it to the
June
public.
7th, July 7th, we would have to do it. So I'm just saying, whatever ad hoc
Not sure if you guys can hear me, but we can't hear you. Hey, Joan and Mary, can you hear me?
We get our hands dirty. We chase mysteries and clean up answers.
This is Joan. I can hear you.
Yeah. So I can now leave because they are back to being the host. But we can't hear them at all. That is the weirdest thing. I got a notification that you were going to be now the host, and I went, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's strange.
It's totally strange. And now that I put them back at host, you know how you have that more option?
Right.
I couldn't, they had no microphone whatsoever on their side. So you guys have microphones, but I can't adjust them. I can only pin you as being, my main screen. That's it. Isn't that crazy? So they
That's
can't hear
weird.
us
So-
at all.
The sound I'm hearing in the background on you must be a TV you've got on in the room.
Yeah, my husband has my son on in the living room, so I can hear him.
That's
So-
okay, just so long as it's not them in the meeting in the background.
Nope.
So they can't hear our discussion.
And now they can't see any of our comments because the TV is off. Do you see over in their
Yeah.
meeting? So I think they just gave up. So
Yeah, and I also don't know if their audio equipment for recording these things is
Is working.
recording it also.
it's just bizarre that their video is still working if they lost audio. So all right. Well, I'm calling it a night, ladies.
All right, sounds good.
All
Talk
right.
to y'all
Good
later.
night, guys. Bye.
Night. I think I'm gonna call it a night too. I can't hear a word.
Yeah. And they're apparently aware of it because Johnny looked back at the camera. So,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like, well, too bad, we're going to continue on with our topics of discussion. And now we get to do it with nobody listening.
Lovely.
Yeah. All right, I'll hang in here just for giggles because I'm doing other stuff anyway.
Okie dokie. Bye.
right. Bye.